Hey everybody, Joy here. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so no coffee, no nothing to drink. I certainly don't need to spill it. It is Sunday, and it's May 16, 2021, and it is a lovely rainy day. Now usually I don't like rainy days, but today is the fun, comfortable, comforting, soothing kind of rainy day, because it's the kind of rainy day where it's just slow, it's all day long, but the sun is shining through it. So it's sunny and rainy and not cloudy. So Jerry and I have been out running around. Jerry finally found a little Jeep for us to go look at yesterday. He's been searching for a Jeep ever since we bought the RV, because we want a vehicle that we can tow behind the RV, so when we get someplace we'll have a car. And neither of our vehicles could be towed, and evidently a Jeep can be. Don't ask me why or why not, I have no clue. So anyway, we've been to all kinds of car lots while we were up there, and now that we're back home we went to several here. So we went yesterday and we drove around 5 different car lots, I think, and we just found junky stuff all beat up, messed up inside. One side had the carpet all ripped up and rolled up underneath the chairs, and Jerry and I we're picky. We take really good care of our stuff, and we don't want to start out with a vehicle that's already been messed up by another owner. So we just came back home kind of disappointed yesterday afternoon. And so I was up here working on my mystery quilt, finishing up day 5, block 5, and Jerry came up and said, "We've got to go back to Ardmore." And I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, somebody called me from one of those car lots and they have a Jeep." I said, "We were just there. We were just there. We just drove around the whole parking lot." "Well, we were looking for used." "Well, I don't want to ever buy anything new because, I mean, if it's 5 minutes old, it's still so much cheaper than brand new, right?" So the salesman called and said, "Well, we have a Jeep I think you'll like. Doesn't your wife want red?" And he said, "Yeah, she likes red or turquoise." He said, "Well, we've got a red one here, and it's a 2017, and it's only got 20,000 miles on it." And Jerry said, "Well, we were just there. We didn't see it." Well, he said, when we have a used car that's in really good condition, we put it with the new cars. So, duh. You know who put that car there? God sent angels down and said, "Move that car over there so nobody will buy it till Joy and Jerry get here." So we did. We got in Jerry's truck and we drove back to Ardmore, which is like 45 miles away. And sure enough, it was just the perfect red Jeep. It's a 2017 and it looks brand spanking new. It's got one little indention. I mean, it's not a break, it's not a crack, it's just like somebody pushed their finger in when it was hot on the back bumper, and there's like this little indention in it. But other than that, it's just like brand new. So we were late last night. We always buy our cars late at night. And so he drove the little Jeep home, and I had to drive his truck home. Well, I've never driven his truck before. Not at night anyway. And oh my gosh. I tried to put the blinker on, or the windshield wipers on, and I tried to move the steering wheel closer to me, and I moved the brake away from me. I thought, it's going to be a miracle if I get home in this truck. So anyway, Jerry's out playing with his new little toy, of course, and he's going to have to figure out what has to be done to the back of the RV, which I'm sure some of you can tell me, and so we can pull that Jeep when we go somewhere. Okay, so went out in our little, of course he wants to drive it, and it's for bad weather, I guess, and so I put on my duck boots. You want to see my duck boots? I'll show them to you. Aren't those just lovely? Aren't those just lovely? Jerry always says, "I'm sitting at a different table, Joy." They work. That's all I can say is they work. Those are Crocs. I've had them for 20 years. But anyway, that's what I put on when I'm going out in the rain. Okay, let's talk about the mystery quilt. So many of you have said, "What's this mystery quilt you keep talking about?" So let me explain it to you. This is block number 5. I made a printout. Now, be careful if you go to her blog and you print out these recipes, she calls them, Be sure to print out just page 1 through 4. Otherwise, it'll print out all the comments that people have made, and it will just keep printing and printing and waste your ink and waste your paper. So this is the first 5. And I'm all done with the first 5. And I have them right here on my table. I'll show them to you in a second. We are up to 6 as of yesterday. She did one every day, Monday through Saturday. She's off today, so today we're supposed to get caught up. Well, we've been running around in Jerry's little Jeep, so I've gotten zilch done. We did get the devotional done this morning. Run on over to my channel called Shine, and you can see Jerry. Ah, he's so cute. Okay, so I'm up to block number 6. And I kept thinking all through this mystery quilt, why doesn't she show an easier way to do the half square triangles? Because we're doing half square triangles. I kept thinking, why doesn't she show the easy way, the easy way? Well, finally, on block number 6, she says, and she uses her triangle paper. I'm using this triangle paper. So today, we're going to use triangle paper, and we're going to put a dark and a light, and we're going to put it on here, and we're going to sew all around these lines, and we're going to make half square triangles. But I haven't started yet. So I've got to do that. It's already 3 o'clock. Let me see. I was going to show you number 6, but I don't think I've printed it out yet. Hold on. Ta-da! Here is number 6. So I take my big marker and I find the page that's blue and white. She's doing it 2 different ways. She's doing it one with all different colors of fabric, a dark fabric and light, dark, light, but all different colors. I'm doing the blue and white. So I go to the page that's me, which is this. See all the half square triangles? And then I put up here in the corner a number 6. A number 6. So I know this is block 6, which was also day 6. But she's not doing today, and today would be 7, and tomorrow would be 8, but actually tomorrow's block 7. Does that make sense? So I think there's a total of 12 different blocks, and then a certain number of each one of those numbers. So then I write up here how many. This one has a block A and a block B. So it's 2 blues and 2 lights. And so I find here on the papers how many of each block I'm supposed to make. And it says 8 of block A and 8 of block B. So up here I write an 8, and right there I write an 8. So I know that's what I'm going to do. And when I get done, I'm going to end up with 16 blocks. Now that's just what I do. That's just what I do. Remember, I'm an applique quilter. I like to do applique. I have done some piecing, but mostly I've done applique. So this is really helping me be a better piecer. I'm really proud of how good I've done so far. It's a miracle. And I actually ordered a new yellow ruler. I believe it's a Quilter Select 4.5-inch ruler. And I ordered it recently for this mystery quilt. This is an old one that I had. This was hanging on my wall and I already had it. But I thought, oh, those Quilter Select rulers are so amazing. I'm going to order one. So I did. And it came. But I cannot find it anywhere. I have too much fabric out. I have too many projects going. I have got to get this room cleaned up and get organized because I want to find that ruler. But this ruler is really, really nice also. You need something with a diagonal line through it, and you need it to be 4.5 inches, which this is. So that's as complicated as it has gotten so far. You want to see what it looks like so far? To me, it's ugly. I keep thinking, well, that's ugly. That doesn't look good at all. This is it. If I was to lay everything I've done so far out on the floor, this is what it would look like. So, I don't know. I don't know. It must get better as you keep going. It's 15 blocks across. It's going to end up 4-inch blocks when it's done. 15 across and 15 down, so it's going to be a square. So, I hope it starts to look better here pretty quick. because I just think that looks funny. Now, I'll tell you the next problem. The next problem is enough blue fabrics, because every block is a different blue and a different light. And I have a ton of cotton fabrics out there in my other room, and they're all folded up, and they're all the blues and all the reds and all the blacks and all the greens like that. But you have to have at least a fat quarter, and so many of mine were not fat quarters. So I have been rushing around trying to buy more blues. So I went to Hobby Lobby. This one I already had, and some of them, the lights, you know, this is kind of a light, but it's not really. It's got a lot of blue in it. So I don't know, I thought maybe if I used a really dark with that one, it might read light. Anyway, I had Jerry take me to Hobby Lobby and Joann's yesterday. The day before. We didn't have the Jeep yet. That must have been the day before, because we just got the Jeep yesterday. So we went to Joann's and Hobby Lobby, and fortunately, these fat quarters at Joann's were 40% off. How handy was that? So I've got these blues. I've got these blues. I've got these blues. I've been buying blues everywhere because you have to have at least a quarter yard. But then the lights, and the lights that Edyta uses, you can see in this picture, they're all a print. And they also have a little bit of a color print on them. Well, I could not find anything like that at Hobby Lobby or at Joann or in my stash. So I'm having to use, I found some that are like sort of a print. See there, they're sort of, but not really. But yesterday at Joann's, where they have their fat quarters, they don't have a whole lot of them, but they have some fat quarter bundles. With their fat quarter bundles, they had these white ones, all whites, and they're nice whites. Now they don't have any color in them. They're all just whites. So my quilt is just going to be more plain stuff. I hope it turns out. We shall see. I do have a few, like when I was using my own fabric, I was using the lightest ones I had. And you can see that's not very light. And that's white, but it has a print in it. So I don't know. Mine might not be that gorgeous. We shall see. Oh, but it's a mystery, right? It's a mystery. So I thought, if, like the world's getting ready to come to an end because my quilt is so ugly, I thought I could take like some colored markers, like some permanent markers that don't wash out, and I could just like make some patterns on some of the white ones. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to get back to making it. I'm going to put a link below in the description box to the blog where Edyta Sitar is posting every single day. She's up to day 6, and you'll see day 1 through day 6 in her blog, and you can print out all these papers right here. I did it last year with her last mystery quilt, which is called California, I think. I'm not sure. But I printed out all the papers, and I don't know if you still can print those out from last year or not. But if it turns out really pretty and you wish you'd kept it, hey, you'll have all the papers. I guess there'll be 12 before it's done. So I'll put a link below so those of you that have asked me about it can go there and check it out for yourself. Now, of course, Edyta provided a link to her own fabric. I think it was called Perfect Union. And she had her own blue and white fabrics. However, the whole wide world bought them before I could. So there's none left. So you can't make it right now. If you want those, you have to wait for them to come back in. Nobody has them. I checked everybody's site. So I decided, you know what? I saved all of those silly fat quarters and all those different colors of cottons. I'm going to make my own out of my own fabric. I still ended up buying all this. Crazy. So let me show you my little stack down here. Hold on. All right, so there's my stack so far. You can see that's 5 stacks for the first 5 days, and I'm getting ready to make day 6 with this triangle paper. So day 1 had 2 blocks. Day 2 had 2 different blocks, different numbers of each. Day 3 had 3 different blocks. Day 4 had 2 different blocks. and day 5 had 2 different blocks. And day 6 is going to have 2 different blocks. That doesn't mean 2 of each. Sometimes there's 8, sometimes there's 16, but 2 different blocks, see? So I have them marked by day. And that's as organized as I have gotten, my friends. This is the very first fabric I found. I went to Hobby Lobby when I was up in Edmond sewing at my daughter's house, and this was a fat quarter pack with these pretty blue and whites in it. But that's all I found there. It stops right there. But it was a good start. I think what I'm going to do, since nobody's ever here and nobody's ever out there but me, I think I'm going to take the blocks I have so far, and I think I'm going to take the recipe up to block 5, and I'm going to go out there on my rug, and I'm going to place all of these on the carpet like this. You want to see them when I get done? Hold on. I hear you. I know what you're saying. You're saying, would you quit dancing around, Joey, and tell us what that thing is? Years ago, Billy and I used to live close to each other, and we used to go to quilt shows. I went to one with Terry one time, so I might have been with her. But there was a booth at whatever show it was. It was in Fort Worth, and there was this nice little man and his wife had a booth, and they were selling these things called Design Wall. It's called Cheryl Ann, C-H-E-R-Y-L, Cheryl Ann, LLC, Design Wall. Now Jerry and I just crawled around this floor for the last 20 minutes putting this thing together. It's supposed to be super, super easy. You gotta have really, really strong thumbs. It's tight, everything's tight. And so you gotta have some muscle to get it up. But I decided I would rather put my mystery quilt up on this design wall instead of crawling around the floor, which isn't that easy to get up off of these days, if you know what I mean. So I used it in the past for a long time, and then we had company. I don't remember who came. Somebody came, and so I had to put it up. And so it's been put up for years. It actually took me like 30 minutes to even find the thing. But I used it, and it works great. Oh, I remember what quilt I made. I know I have a lot of new people that weren't here before. Where is that quilt? I turned off the Super Trooper people. All right, so here's the back of it. But I used this to arrange this quilt on. Of course, it won't go up on it now. But this was a hard one. A hard one. Lots and lots of half square triangles. And I made the fabric for it. What I made was 10-inch pieces of fabric by sewing strips and pieces of leftover fabric together. Jenny Doan has a video on it. Other people have a video on it. I think it's called crumb quilting. So I picked this pattern. I just looked up half square triangle quilt patterns, and there was hundreds of them. And so I printed out a picture of the one that I liked, and this is what I ended up with. I didn't even name it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go get my Edyta Sitar mystery quilt blocks. Remember, I've got 5 days done. I just told you so. And there's 15 across, and they're each 4.5 inches. So I am going to mark center. I actually can feel center because there's a bar in the center here, and there's a bar in the center here. So I'm going to start in the center and work my way out, and we'll see what I end up with, okay? I turned the music off. Are you glad? Jerry turned it on when he came up here. I'll take the camera off and show you the back of this little wall thing. It's really cool. There it is. See? It just has these bars. And there's 4 of them. One goes across the top, the bottom, and each side, and then you hook it with that little corner thing right there. Let me widen this. And then you put a bar across the center going both ways, and you make a big 90-degree cross to hold it up, and that's what I'm going to use for my centers. And then you use some of the bars to make legs with. See? There's a leg, and there's a leg. And so it's very portable. You can lift it up, you can move it around, and your quilt blocks stick to it. It wasn't cheap. It was probably $80, maybe $120, I don't know. Whatever it was worth it. Okay, this is an hour later. This is not easy, my friends. When you've only got certain pieces and you can't like start at the left on the top line and go all the way over to the right, this is very difficult. I do know center, but that's all the pieces that are made so far. And I don't know if my blue and whites are gonna work with those light blues that I used. See, before I went to the store and bought whites, that was the lightest one I had right there. You can see it has a little bit of white in it, but not enough probably. So I don't know if this is going to be the ugliest quilt I ever made or if it will be a surprise. It looks like maybe it has a flower in the center, huh? All right, my friends, my quilting friends out there that want to see me quilt. I kind of see some flowers in the middle, do you? Now, of course, those light blues, I'm probably going to have to redo all those blocks. That kind of really stands out, doesn't it? Maybe it'll look good in the end, I don't know. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about that block right there. That is not light enough. So I'm probably going to have to remake all of those. And of course there's about 500 of them up there. But then again, maybe it'll look good. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll look good, maybe it won't. We shall see. Here I am next to it so you can get an idea of how high it is. It's a pretty big quilt, isn't it? I thought it was going to be like a wall hanging, but it's not. It's quite large. So, I think it'll be nice. We shall see. But I'm going to end this video right here or it will be too very long. So sometime during the week, maybe when I get to the end of the week and all the blocks are done, I'll be back. But I'm going to end this video about the mystery quilt by Edyta Sitar at Laundry Basket Quilts. Link below. I'm going to end it right now and I'll be back eventually.